Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Board of Directors meeting for the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency. We're at the BWB Building, 201 West Third Street, Jamestown, New York. We're also streaming live via YouTube and Zoom. It's April the 23rd at 10:35. We'll start with roll call. Gary Henry's here. Brad Walters.
Here.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Here.
Stephen Thorpe.
Here.
Daniel DeMart.
Here.
Tom Harmon.
Here.
Kevin Muldowney.
Here.
I'd like to thank Jeanette for sending out the minutes, and you should have had a chance to review those. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the March 26th meeting?
So move.
Thank you, Brad. Do we have a second?
I could second it.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes have been approved. We'll move right into new business 3A, the Eminence Group, presented by Carol.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Eminence Group, DBA Cold Craft Manufacturer. First of all, their definition is they're custom commercial furniture. They serve several markets: business, education, institutional, healthcare, and hospitality. They make very quality furniture. Their clients include actually many 500 Fortune companies and colleges, et cetera. They have, now they found another niche that they're going into called the Jaguar Furniture. It was established in 2022. It's a high product production brand. They're focusing in the volume of sales. It's increased their business by 2.5 million in sales. It's office furniture for larger companies like law firms, investment firms, and such. And they came to a loan review on April 11th, presenting their application. And the loan review committee did recommend this to go before the board today. It's an equipment purchase. Of course, I mentioned to increase their sales. It increases production. It makes them more price competitive. They have fewer setups, fewer downtimes. It'll increase efficiency, reduced inventory costs. And it's an automatically drilling and gluing the material. There's less material handling. It's called an edge bander, operating at twice the speed. That they can get them out now with more precise edging. So there's about 3 different parts of it. The total equipment purchase is $1,013,910. They are looking at other financing. They have a couple of financiers in mind, but they haven't picked one. They've had some offers. So this, the terms of this is 4%, 7 years. Collateral being subordinate lien position on all the machinery and equipment, including the new equipment, furniture, fixtures, accounts receivable, all assets of the company. A landlord waiver on Eminence Group Properties LLC. And the loan review committee did agree to waive a personal guarantee and life insurance assignment on David Messenger, who is the owner, 98% ownership. So with this presented, all the cash flow went into their finances are great as personal guarantee. And the loan review committee did highly recommend this. So unless there are any other questions.
Did you say the total loan amount?
The total loan amount? No, I did not. It's $400,000.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark. So, would you like to say anything else, Mark or Parker?
No, I mean, Cold Craft's a great company. We've been there
Yeah.
several times and they really do this really high-end furniture and they've been around for a long time. And, this is great that they're expanding into a new line and I fully support it.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Any other questions or?
Hearing none. Brad, would you move new business A1 for us?
Resolution 04-23 24-01. Members of the County Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency to approve an Altech EDA CARES Act and or CRLF loan to Eminence Group Incorporated.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe.
Aye.
Daniel Demart.
Aye.
Tom Harmon.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
Your resolution is unanimously approved. Thank you. We'll go ahead and move into new business B, Wicked Jimmy LLC, again presented by Carol and Millen.
Okay, you want to go first, or me?
Sure, let's do the deviation hearing first. Notice of this deviation hearing was sent on April 3rd of this year to all the affected tax jurisdictions. This is a proposed deviation for Wicked Jimmy. It would be a 10-year pilot with fixed annual payments that would not go up over the term. To my knowledge, we have not gotten any written correspondence from any of the affected tax jurisdictions. And I don't see any here, but if there's anyone representing any affected tax jurisdiction that would like to comment on this proposed deviation from the agency's UTEP, please speak now. Hearing none, the hearing is closed. So then I turn it back over to Carol.
Okay,
The
thank you.
application?
Okay. So, obviously Millen did explain this as, going forth for a deviation approval. There'll be two resolutions and an authorizing resolution, which includes seeker. There'll be one resolution because it's just inside work. Again, Wicked Jimmy's LLC, the ownership is Robert Roth, who has been before the board to describe the project and his future plans. And the project is purchasing the former Jamestown Brewing Company at 115 West Third Street in Jamestown, for the intent of a brewery, restaurant, and event spot, and some enhancements to the project. So, right now, early entry may be May 1st, but hopefully a July opening. There is the due diligence resolution. We had, on March 26th, the board did approve the due diligence resolution. So we went forward and had a public hearing at the city of Jamestown on April 17th. And there were no verbal comments at the meeting, and there were no written comments. Mayor Eklund was present at the public hearing, and Mayor and GLTC are behind the project. GLTC did assist in some of the financing. So it's a deviation, like Millen said, from our normal pilot because it's a set amount for 10 years. The set amount of taxes being $44,682. There was a property tax savings of $156,670. Sales tax savings in the amount of $63,124, and mortgage tax will save $23,250. On April 3rd, the notices were mailed out for this deviation hearing today. Are there any questions, or I'd like to turn over Mark? Do you have comments on it? Or?
Well, just a couple of things real quick. So they the prior owners had the city had entered them into the 485B program, which the payments ratchet up over time. Basically, what this pilot does is it locks it in at approximately the current rate for the next 10 years. So not taking anything away, it just locks in what the current payments are. We had several meetings and conversations with the mayor about it so that she completely understood and is all on board with the IDA providing this incentive. This is a really important project, and that was such an exciting time when Jamestown Brewing Company opened that up, and they were making it, and COVID hit, and everything fell apart and it's been sitting vacant, as you all know, for several years. So getting that back in play is important to the community. People come to the National Comedy Center, the Ice Arena, and, looking for a place to eat, and that's a really nice spot. So, as we discussed when Rob was with us before, he's got an established business in Warren, and has a sort of a template. And this is larger. He's excited about being in a larger city. And he's got all kinds of plans for that. So, it's a great project, and, I'm excited that all of the different partners have pulled together to support this. And, I look forward to him being in there and making a go of it.
The only thing I would add to what Mark just said is it's interior renovation only, with the exception of some roof decks, 700 square feet. So will have some outdoor space, which means that from a seeker perspective, this is deemed to be a type 2. So it is something that is so not insignificant, but it does not reach any of the thresholds where really a seeker analysis has to be performed, again, because it's interior renovation. So there are 2 resolutions in front of you. There's no separate seeker resolution, as you very often find. There's the deviation resolution. The whole board resolves to deviate from your UTEP in the ways that have just been described. And then there's the final approving resolution that authorizes and instructs staff and council to go ahead and grant the financial assistance that Carol described.
Do we have any other questions? Dan Hetzenrader, would you move new business B2 for us?
Absolutely. Resolution 04-23-24-02, deviation approval resolution, Wicked Jimmy LLC, and resolution 04-23-24-03, authorizing resolution, Wicked Jimmy LLC.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Dan. We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe.
Aye.
Dan Demart.
Aye.
Tom Harmon.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
And the resolution has been unanimously approved. Next, we'll move into new business C, Erie Coast Solar LLC, presented by Rosie and Millen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Millen, did you want to do the deviation hearing first, or is it okay if I describe the project?
I'm thinking let's describe the project. Makes more sense than.
Last month at the March 26th board meeting, the board was presented with an application from Erie Coast Solar LLC. This is a 2.2 megawatt AC solar farm on approximately 30 acres located in the town of Sheridan at 3584 New Road in Sheridan, New York. Total project cost is $7.15 million. They are requesting a 20-year pilot on the increased assessment and the sales tax abatement. The pilot will produce payments to the affected taxing jurisdictions over the life of the project in the amount of $299,483 and tax exemptions totaling $360,517. At that board meeting last month, the board did approve the due diligence resolution for this project. We then did have a public hearing on April 16th in the town of Sheridan. Greg was in attendance, as well as the code enforcement officer, Jim Crowell, who spoke in favor of the project. The town supervisor was not able to participate, but Jim did share that the town supervisor is also in favor of the project as well. So today, we're presenting a deviation hearing, a deviation approval resolution, and a final approving resolution, which Millen will review. But I do have Eamon Riley from Erie Coast Solar on Zoom, as well as their council Paige Buyer from Barclay Damon, if the board has any questions. Okay, great. Millen, if you wouldn't mind reviewing the resolutions.
Well, first, let's do the deviation hearing. Notice of this hearing was sent on April 1st to each of the affected tax jurisdictions. And I believe we got one letter from the mayor who mentioned that they have a host community benefit agreement The IDA is not a party to that, but that sort of helps the city get comfortable with this project. One thing that Rosie said that I think I want to clarify, it is a proposed 25-year pilot. Starts out at $4,250 per megawatt and rises by 2% per year.
Thank you, Bill, and I apologize.
And
Can I ask one quick question about that host agreement?
Mhm.
Like, if I recall, when I read through the letter from the town, they said they were in favor of this as long as they got this host agreement. But that's not our responsibility for the IDA. Once we give them this pilot, what happens with the host agreement is not of our concern.
correct, and I mention it because that's sort of
Yeah.
why the local municipalities are very often supportive. But you're absolutely right. We make a very clear distinction because it is not part of our pilot. If it was part of our pilot, then all the affected tax jurisdictions are in it on their own. Because it's a direct agreement, it's not part of our pilot. So the answer is yes, we're not a party to it. I've not seen it. I understand that it is out there and has been signed, but we sort of take a very hands-off view of it.
We do have a copy of it just for our records, but again, as Nolan said.
Yeah.
Between the two,
Yeah.
the developer.
Okay, I just wanted, it almost like they implied like somehow, we had some responsibility, but I just, that's outside our purview.
Correct, correct. And from a legal perspective, we try to be very, very careful so that we are not a party to it. It's not embedded in our documents, et cetera, because it's not a pilot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I guess I ask, are there any representatives of any affected tax jurisdictions who would like to comment on the proposed deviation from the agency's UTEP? Hearing none, I call the hearing to a close. Again, there are two resolutions in front of you. The first one is the deviation resolution that we've just talked about. The second is the final approving resolution. Now, from a seeker perspective, the town did SECRA and named the agency as an involved agency. The IDA did not object to the town taking lead agency status. So the IDA is bound by the determination of the town, and the town found that there's no significant adverse impact. So your approving resolution references that. But again, that's why there's no separate seeker resolution, because very often we'll have either two or three, but there's no separate seeker resolution. The amount of the financial assistance, I'm not sure if we mentioned, the estimated real property tax savings are $360,517, and sales and use taxes are $200,000. They are not requesting mortgage recording tax because very often these projects are not financed with a traditional mortgage. And those are the two resolutions.
Got a question. So do we have other energy projects that have both a host community agreement and a pilot, or is this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say most, if not all, just because that is becoming more and more common.
Okay.
Any other questions? Stephen Thorpe, would you move new business 3 for us?
All right.
Sorry.
My apologies.
Let's see. We are at C3. All right, resolution 4/23/24-04 deviation approval. Resolution Erie Coast Solar LLC and resolution 04/23/24-05 approving resolution Erie Coast Solar LLC.
Thank you. I think, it's getting all cleaned up and shined up. They may not have recognized, who you were. We'll get that correct.
Man.
Wow.
For next month.
Tough crowd.
Tough crowd.
You look great. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dan. Go ahead and do roll call. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe.
Aye.
Dan Demart.
Aye.
Tom Harmon,
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
And it is unanimously approved. Thank you. Next, we'll move into new business D, broadband seeker resolution presented by Mark, Matt, and Millen.
Yeah, so I guess I'll start out. We've got, also have Matt Fitzgerald here from, Phillips Lytle and Millen Tyler, of course, who are also going to speak to the details of the seeker. I just wanted to give a little background on this. And I've brought it up, at several of our board meetings about this broadband project, but, the county allocated $2.5 million of the 24.6 million ARPA allocation that they received. They allocated 2.5 of that to extending broadband services to unserved and underserved locations across the county. And so, and there are approximately, and not approximately, exactly, there are about 4,065 addresses that are unserved or underserved. So what we did is, and we had to really strategize this, we consulted with a company called ECC Technologies. They're broadband experts. They've helped a lot of communities across the state and country, actually, sort of develop a strategy for how to kind of roll this kind of thing out. And so what we did is we broke the county into 4 zones based on sort of where the internet service providers, the ISPs, had infrastructure. And then we identified all those locations, and then we did a request for proposals for all 4. So companies could bid on 1 or 2 or 3 or all 4 of those zones. And DFT Communications was the low bidder for Zone 3, which is that Dunkirk, Fredonia service area. And so the way the project rolls out is that their project is a $1.663 million total project cost, and we're splitting 50-50. So DFT's going to pay for half of that, $831,000, and the ARPA money is $831,527 actually. So that. And to go back a little bit, that allocation, that 2.5 million was allocated to the IDA to manage this project. So it's really the IDA that's doing this project on behalf of the county. The cost, I don't need to talk about that. So DFT is looking at a May start date and a fall end date. And their project is going to serve 385 of those 4,000 locations. And that still leaves 1.5 million or so for the other provider that won the bid on the other 3, was Charter. And we're working with ConnectAll on that because they're going to tap into the ConnectAll money, which is Empire State Development. It's where the state's 300 million or so allocation of federal funding went to the states. Now the states are dispersing that through the ConnectAll program. So anyway, as part of that, of course, we have to do the environmental review, the seeker review, because we are the funding agency. We're the lead agent on that. So this is approving that seeker resolution. So maybe I'll take it from there and send it over to Matt or Millen. Go ahead, Millen.
Let me start. I'll let Matt give the details, but as you know, Matt is, among other things, our seeker nerd. So I challenged him to make this resolution a little bit more entertaining. So I said, can you do it in a limerick? So Matt's going to give you detail, but here's the overview. I think for the first time in New York State, a limerick to introduce a seeker resolution. There once was a county, Chautauqua, whose broadband service was awful. It must be repaired, but seeker was fared, so this neg deck was drafted to soothe you. That's the limerick. That's all. But to be more specific, I'll let Matt, the poet, give you the real secret
By the way, I wasn't involved.
They went rogue.
But I,
ask Mark, so I don't think you said no.
All of Matt's genius would have been left forever.
Not the delivery.
I gotta say, I'm just thrilled that that will live on now forever, Millen. So I appreciate you saying that all out loud. So that limerick gives you the overview and the intro. We did a secret resolution. So this is an unlisted action. It's not a type 1 action for which, there's a need to do a whole coordinated review with other agencies or things like that. Pretty straightforward project, right? For the most part, this is lashing fiber cables onto existing utility poles. It does involve the installation of, I believe, some 68 new poles and some underground trenching. But all of that is in existing road rights of way, things like that. This is not the kind of project where you would anticipate significant adverse environmental impacts. If you flip through the resolution, really, I'll say the only thing that might jump out at you is the threatened and endangered species section. But as Mark indicated, the plan to construct starting soon and then ending in the fall avoids the time period where you'd have any concerns about the short-eared owl or anything like that. So with that, the resolution is proposed as a negative declaration, finding no significant adverse environmental impacts, and that would allow the approval to go forward.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the board? Hearing none. Dan DeMark, can you move resolution D1 for us?
Yes, move to approve resolution 04-23-24-06 of the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act issuing a negative declaration for the Chautauqua County broadband extension.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Also.
Thank you, Steve. Gary Henry votes aye. Brad Walters.
Aye.
Dan Hetzenrader.
Aye.
Stephen Thorpe.
I,
Dan DeMart.
Aye.
Tom Harmon.
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
And the resolution is unanimously approved.
Thanks, Matt.
thanks, Matt.
This is certainly, this whole broadband extension is exciting for our county and we start looking at things like Live Chautauqua and what we're trying to do to draw, more people back to the county, increased population. These are the kinds of things people are gonna be looking for. People are not gonna want to live where you don't have access to, broadband. So this is the first step and, hopefully it goes well and then we can get the next phase going and, exciting. Did you have an executive director's report for us?
I'm going to be very quick. Yeah, just a few things. As we've been sort of talking about for about a year now, we launched our talent attraction campaign last week. The Live Chautauqua, Choose Chautauqua. We had presentations at the Robert H. Jackson Center on Tuesday last week and at the Opera House on Thursday. Went very well. Again, it really the whole campaign is around sort of trying to curb the population loss that we've experienced here in the county since 1970. We're not unique, by the way, but to really tell our story to people outside of the area or even people that live here. This is a great place to be. It's a great place to set up business, great place to live, great place to raise your family. And that's sort of the Live Chautauqua. And then the Choose Chautauqua is really appealing to talent. There's a lot of unfilled positions with companies. Everyone we talk to, it seems like every business we go to, we say, what's your number one challenge? Filling open positions. So it's really a tool for those businesses to use, and also we're promoting it is a place that, again, people want to live. They want to take jobs here because it's a great place. There's lots to do, and it's just a great place to be. So we're excited about that. Jason has been managing that whole process, and it's been a big lift. And he's done an incredible job along with Monica and Nate and others. And then tied to that is the website, our new website. So we've got those companion websites, Live and Choose Chautauqua. Under Choose Chautauqua is the IDA, the CREDC with the partnership, and then CRC. And it's also, the reason I bring that up also is because our old website was outdated, clunky, not user-friendly. And of course, in response to the ABO recommendations, one of the things that they suggested and we agreed was that we need to redo our website so that it's more transparent, it's more user-friendly, and we've got everything loaded on there now. So it's been really a big lift, but rewarding as well. So good job, Jason and everyone else. Do you want to say anything else about it?
No, only that the site is now live, so feel free to visit and find out for yourselves and see yourselves on the website because there is a section for the board of directors.
If you find any issues, call Jason. The other thing I wanted to talk a little bit about is, as we all know, Rich Dixon, our CFO, is looking to retire the middle of next year. So we're actively searching right now for his replacement. We hired Rich Kerner as a local Chautauqua guy. He has assisted a lot of large companies and institutions in finding high-level talent. And we've been working on the job description. So he's now out there. He's listing it in local and regional newspapers, using all his connections. And the other thing about Rich is that he'll do sort of that first cut of folks so that, what he'll bring to us are the folks that he feels have the right stuff for this job. And then we'll do those interviews. But the idea is to try to get somebody in there in the next 3 to 6 months, and then they can spend 6 months or 9 months, learning from Rich and Kayla. So that's underway. I'm excited to say, I'm not so excited to say, actually. But he's going to be big shoes to fill. We'll have new letterhead in May that is consistent with the new branding that we've done for the campaign. So we'll get that out to you. And then we're continuing, and I could talk about a lot more things, but we're continuing to plug away with the money for the Ripley site. As you know, we have about $13 million secured in a $17+ million project. We've done and Nate has taken the lead on this request for funding, congressional earmark. We did ARC Power grant application, an IIJT grant application, and we're working on an EDA application. If we hit on all those, we're good. If we hit on some of them, we might still be okay. But I just want you to know we're plugging away until we get all the funding. And then also one last thing is we're also working on Mason Industrial Park to make that more shovel ready. There are some things that still need to be done there. So we did a report. We worked with Clark Patterson Lee to really look at that and see, well, what's been done and what still needs to be done. How much will that cost? And so we're working towards getting that 60 acres that we bought from Bush shovel ready. So that's sort of in a nutshell what I have. Do you have any questions?
Thank you. Kayla, are you going to do the treasurer's report?
I sure am, with bells and whistles on. In Rich's absence, and I want to make note, when Rich leaves, I will be leaving as well. Seems daunting to think of things without him, but we'll get by. So if we take a look at the IDA's balance sheet, there's really not much to report as far as balance sheet goes. Mark did just note that the North Chautauqua Industrial Fund is looking to secure additional funding, and we've got a good start in our deferred revenue there. But let's turn to the statement of revenue and expenses. glance those through. Rich had texted me this morning and said that the IDAs had a great first quarter, and I couldn't agree more, that everything aligns like we planning it as far as budgeting goes. So really nothing to report as far as the statement of revenue, nothing that's wonky or anything. The last page is the budget. And we look to be right on target with these. We are a little over budget for the insurance section, and I just realized that we accidentally overpaid our general liability policy, so I'll be requesting a refund for that. And the grant expense, that was the final push for Mark's marketing business assistance grant that we paid out of the funding that we got from ARPA through the county. We just didn't put that in our original budget. So besides those two, we're looking great. And if anybody has any questions, let me know.
Do I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report? Thank you. Kevin, do I have a second? Thank you, Tom. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The treasurer's report has been accepted. At this point, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing the financial or credit history of a particular person or corporation. In particular, I would like to discuss the status of our loan portfolio and the financial and credit status of some of our borrowers, as well as some CCIDA personnel. I believe that discussing this in open session would substantially affect the value. Do I hear such a motion?
That motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you, Steve. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, we'll take just a moment here.